Hari Om. Let's open with the 3 Oms. Om. 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 Jai Sri Satguru Satchidanandaji Maharaj ki. I just love this name, Integral Yoga. And so we're going to talk about it just a little bit and see how we can understand how all-comprehensive this name is to our yoga practice. When you think of the word integral, you realize that it is reminding you of something that is fundamental, something that is basic, something that is essential, the essence of something. And when we take that little essence and understand how it includes everything that belongs to what the noun is after it, yoga, we're going to see that we are understanding how the practice of yoga is something that affects all of us. Not just everybody, but all of everybody. Our minds, our bodies, our senses. Everything is affected by integrating, bringing all of these essential parts of our practice together. So that integral yoga means the whole yoga. And if your next question would be, well, what is yoga? Yoga is that quality of harmony, of peace, of steady mind. That is the word. It yokes whatever are the separate parts together. So yoga brings harmony and brings easefulness. And we see from that very word what the practice actually of yoga wishes to bring out. Both mind and body have to be balanced, have to be harmonious. Otherwise, we're in trouble. So right away, we see that when we practice yoga, we are also directed to go out and find out in our lives, what is it that brings peace, harmony, the equanimity to the mind, balance. And in doing that, we realize that it is an all-over practice. It affects every minute of the day. That's exciting. Sometimes a practice takes your attention, takes time, and then it's over. And then you move to something else. We hardly realize how that was an integral part of this day. But with our yogic practices as such, we begin to understand that there is a definite interplay. One moves into the other. You know, everybody wants to be happy. Everybody. Whether they know it or not, whatever they do is urging them to seek something which uplifts them, which satisfies something within them. Most people look for all of that outside. And they realize that when they attain that outside, it doesn't last very long. And so after a while, it becomes a depressing experience because you realize you have this joy, you have this happiness, and then it's gone. It doesn't last. So we have the sequence of our practices. Everything keeps changing. So even our sequence is a change. It's a growth. It is an advancement. So we start out, if you see the charts, you start out at the bottom with, you want to be healthy. So the 3 H's, healthy, happy, and holy. If you put H's on top of each other, you get a ladder. Did you notice? And as we climb that ladder, we keep, like you would in a real ladder, you keep the steps there. You don't throw away the steps as you keep climbing. So whatever it takes for you to be healthy, your Hatha practices, for instance, work on the body. And when the body realizes, if I don't breathe well, if I don't have good breathing practice, I'm not going to be able to do stretching. I'm not going to be able to have a clear mind to, in a sense, be present to what I'm doing. So Hatha Yoga works on a happy, healthy body and knows that it is going to move immediately to the mind. So we work with those progressions, the happy body, and then when the body becomes healthy, we want to be able to do something with that energized body. So we know how to move, we know how to breathe, we watch what we eat. We're ready to use what our Hatha practice gives to us. So we move into Bhakti Yoga and Karma Yoga. Both of those practices end with the word yoga because each one essentially shares with you inner peace, harmony, and energy. In Bhakti, we're working with the heart. The heart is really the mind, and the mind is the heart when we use those expressions. But as far as the anatomy is concerned, when you love something, you reach for the heart to demonstrate where that affection is coming from. But it's truly an action of the mind. So Bhakti Yoga introduces us to love. Love is the strongest and the greatest virtue in the world. It never ends. We talk about faith, hope, and charity or love. If you hope for something and finally get it, I don't think you keep hoping for it. You start hoping for something else. But that particular hope, being satisfied with the reception, leaves you. A new hope comes. Faith is a trust that you have without knowing, but trusting that that infinite energy, compassion, energy that is going to satisfy you is there, and you have full confidence in that. Whether it comes or doesn't come, your faith remains, but when you receive what you are trusting in and see that it really happens, your faith moves into that confidence, the knowledge. So the faith, which doesn't have satisfaction yet, but has trust, changes. But love never changes. And we call that love unconditional. Never, never should change. Love should be, once it is accepted and begins in your life, love doesn't change. Well, I don't know about that. Then it's not love. What can change is called like. Likes and dislikes can come and go. But love, when you love something, you are understanding that what I'm loving is the eternal. I'm loving what we could call God. I'm loving the self, that all-present one. So love of itself, of its essence, is unchangeable. Liking is a little break, a little test that comes in and causes us a little difficulty until we recognize the fact everything changes. So what we dislike in something now, within the next hour we may like it, or at least don't pay attention anymore. So Bhakti Yoga teaches love, discipline, devotion, and dedication. Something that holds us to remember what is great in our life, the God in us and in the other. Karma Yoga is a path of action, movement, demonstrating that what we love we express. Love can be held within, but if we want to really grow in love, we have to also express it in thought, in word, and in deed. And that's what karma yoga takes up. How do we relate and communicate socially with others around us? We have to be careful that no one is hurt by what we are thinking, saying, and doing, at least not on purpose. And that the way that we are putting out actions have some benefit. So it takes intelligence to act well. Karma yoga reminds you that every action has a reaction. When we take away the word yoga, karma is the reaction to our actions. So let's not put out boomerangs that immediately are flung out and then come right back and hit us in the head. Let them go out and reach their own goal with purpose, with skill. You throw the boomerang. So your actions, your thoughts, your words should have a good motive. And that brings about a lot of discipline in your life. Karma yoga is extremely important in enjoying how you live. So it's one of the happy steps in your ladder. And then we move to Raja Yoga and Jnana Yoga, and also include Japa Yoga, because they are the ones that give us a certain quality called holiness. We want to be happy, we want to be healthy, we want to be holy. So Raja Yoga is that great study where you learn to be the master of your mind. But how can you master something if you don't know what the mind is? So in Raja Yoga, you're really studying. What is the mind? How does it operate? Where are you able to control it? What obstacles does it present to your life? How can you overcome those obstacles? It's a total study of how the mind works, and that you either have control of it or you have a miserable life. So we learn how to control by making choices, and when the choice that we've made doesn't work, then we realize that's not Raja Yoga. So I search more. When the choice brings about an agreeable result, then we realize, I don't know what you call it, or any of those things, but it works. And so I'm going to add that to my controlled mind. So it is a great study, and it is so essential to the integral yoga life. And in Raja Yoga, we have practices, meditation, and japa also come in as ways of controlling the mind and moving beyond, above, raising the mind beyond thoughts, so that we end up in that quiet mind that is in touch with the self, the real you, what we call the God in you. So in Raja Yoga, we also develop meditation and japa, repeating a mantra. In Jnana Yoga, we have the intellectual approach. Through the knowledge of what is the isness we talk about. It goes beyond the physical things that you see and touch and work with. It goes into spirit. And you're taken there. Each one of these yogas that we have spoken about lead into each other. Jnana Yoga, when you really have it and work with it, it comes naturally. But when people who have left out a good foundation and a good base to their practices, try to start with Jnana Yoga. Unfortunately, the advertisement of it is the intelligent mind likes to use Jnana Yoga approach. Well, who wants to say they're not intelligent? So people who are just eager to get somewhere will choose whatever sounds good. But Jnana Yoga is very difficult. And without the foundation of all these other yogas that we've been working with, enjoying, and putting together, it's like the truth, the yoga is one. But there are many paths to it. And when integrating the different yogas, we begin with Hatha. Then we move to Bhakti and Karma Yoga. And then it develops our social outreach. How do we learn to communicate? And then we learn to move into more spiritual, esoteric levels of awareness. In our Raja, meditation, japa, and Jnana Yoga. So we are really working with vibration at that time. And vibrations affect our entire life. So when someone asks you, what is integral yoga? Be sure that you are playing with the words, integrating your life, developing a combination of all the riches that the different aspects of your life demand, bringing them together in order to experience that inner peace, that harmony, and also that joy, that happiness. whenever you finish, even scratching the surface a little deeper on all of these yogas, Gurudev says, you will be experiencing and developing a body of optimum health and strength. You will have a mind and body senses under total control. You will have a well-disciplined mind that's clear and calm. And you will have an intellect as sharp as a razor, clear mind, steady mind. You will have a will that is so strong but pliable like steel. And you will have a heart full of unconditional love and compassion, and you'll know how to use it. And you will have that ego. You want the ego, but you want a healthy ego. So the ego that you will be receiving is making it pure like a crystal. And what will happen? Your life will be filled with supreme peace and joy. Let's go for it. It's the capacity that's been given to us that makes itself very strong at times. I want this. I want to be better. I want to grow. And then we give up because it's not instant. Let's integrate so that we develop each part and end up with a beautiful integral yoga. That's what Swamiji teaches. He says, have an easeful body, a peaceful mind, and a useful life. Those three include all of these perfections. Hari Om. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, love and light. May the light of truth overcome all darkness. Victory to that light. Jai Gurudev. Om Shanti.